everyone. My name is Ella. I'm the Communications Director of NCJAR. We have Robert Veach as our one of our NCJAR of business affiliate at NCJAR. So here you go. Take it away, Robert.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank you for taking a few minutes and joining us today. My name is Bob Veach, and I've been an affiliate with NCJAR for many, many years and have proudly contributed to these educational experiences as well as other events throughout my career. I represent Luminate Bank. Many of you may not have heard of Luminate Bank. We were previously NJ Lenders. I'm sure everybody has heard of NJ Lenders. We are a very large regional mortgage banking company, which merged with Luminate Bank. Luminate Bank is a nationally chartered bank, and it immediately gave us access to 50 states of lending. We had never been in all 50 states before. We were in 22 states. So now when your sellers let you know, hey, I'm moving to Kentucky, I'm moving to Tennessee, Alabama, Arizona, Carolinas, you can refer them to us and we can work with them whatever they end up moving to. Very big advantage for us. Before we dive into the program, I know everybody is worried about or concerned about or happy about interest rates. It's been widely reported throughout the media and news sources that interest rates have come down last week. In fact, Freddie Mac posted on Friday that the average 30-year fixed rate was 6.35%. Today and tomorrow are very big days in our market, and let me take a few minutes and explain. The Federal Reserve has one of its scheduled meetings. As such, tomorrow at 2 o'clock or 2:15, the Federal Reserve will announce its decision and or strategy on interest rate changes. Many of the consuming public believe that a reduction in the federal funds rate means a direct correlation to a reduction in mortgage rates. And that is simply not true. The federal fund rates are the rates which banks lend and borrow to each other on an overnight basis, whereas mortgage rates are more like bonds, as all of the conforming loans are sold to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. They securitize the loans and sell them into the capital markets. So that's a very long-term investment versus an overnight investment. Capital markets have been reacting favorably to the news, or the whispers and rumors, I should say, that interest rates are going to go down at this meeting. And depending on what source of media you get your financial information from, anywhere between 25 and 50 basis point cut, with the emphasis being on a 25 basis point cut. So hopefully I've answered everybody's interest rate questions in advance, because I know it's a big, 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 big topic. And we're very pleased that they are inching downward. It's helping our consumers. Let me see if at any point in time, if anybody has a question, please don't feel that you have to wait till the end of our in a formal Q&A setting. If something I've explained doesn't set right, if you have a question along any part of the way, just simply raise your hand and we'll get the questions answered as we go along. Like to have more of a dialogue and discussion rather than a professorial point of view. Hope you don't mind. Today we're talking about how to build your strongest offers. If you're representing buyers, you know it's critical that we put together the strongest possible offer to keep it in the best light when presenting it to the seller's agent and ultimately the seller to make a decision. As your advisor and as your trusted advisor, we'd like to provide a superior customer service to all parties in the transaction, not just the buyers, not just yourselves as the buyer's agent, but also the attorneys involved. We will talk to the listing agent and send out videos to the listing agent to the extent that we can without breaking any privacy on the financial side of the borrowers to inform them about how strong an offer they are, what type of client they are, because the video will be passed on directly to the seller and won't be interpreted by the listing agent. We offer highly competitive interest rates and a very efficient loan approval process, beginning with our point of sale information. We have a very high success record of closing on time, even renovation loans and non-QM loans. And we've been managing buyers' debt on a post-closing basis forever. This way, as rates ebb and flow, we can contact the borrowers when we feel it's an opportune for them to refinance or potentially recast the mortgage to put themselves in a better financial light. What are some of the biggest challenges that we've seen from representing buyers? Well, we've talked to a lot of buyers agents throughout the years, and these seem to be the biggest ones that we have coming up. Competing against cash offers. Cash offers represent still about 30% of all the offers that are being presented in today's market. Waiving appraisals. How can we talk to buyers and buyers' attorneys about waiving appraisals? Contingent buyers, whether they have a house to sell before they're able to move up, and how do you tap the equity currently tied up in their properties in order to leverage that to make their next move? We have some solutions that we think will be very helpful for you. Competing with cash offers. Our solution is the home buyer's edge. What exactly is a home buyer's edge? Well, in levels of qualifications, a pre-qualification is simply a lender or a loan officer has a conversation with a client, may or may not obtain documents, may or may not pull credit, and then they issue a letter. That's a very low level of confidence in that that loan is going to get to the finish line on time. A pre-approval is when you verify borrower's credit, income, and assets, which is a little bit higher level of pre-approval than a pre-qualification. The likelihood of getting to the finish line increases. With the home buyer's edge, what we do is we obtain all the buyer's credit documents, all their income documents, all their asset documents. We run it through an automated underwriting engine. We get an approval, and we have a live underwriter validate all the documents in the file so that when we issue the certificate, it's as good as gold. This will provide you as the selling agent and the listing agent increased confidence in the buyer's eligibility to get to the finish line. It does provide leverage against cash offers, competing offers with larger down payments, or equal offers that have only been pre-approved. And it's important to communicate to the buyers how important it is to be approved by an underwriter to strengthen their buyer. The buyer is fully approved by the underwriter, subject only to an appraisal. Waiving appraisals. We waive appraisals with value assurance. Value assurance works well in tandem with the home buyer's edge product. Buyers can waive the appraisal with the seller and take no mortgage risk. We will still obtain an appraisal on the subject property, and the appraised value has zero effect on your buyer's mortgage terms. They do not have to bring any additional funds to closing should the appraisal come in light, nor would they have to pay for mortgage insurance, and you'll see. If the property's appraised for less than the sale price, we, Luminant Bank, will cover any required mortgage insurance as a one-time payment to the PMI company at closing in full for the life of the loan. This provides a safety net for the buyers willing to waive their appraisal contingency. And here's where it gets a little more granular. It works well with buyers that are reluctant to waive the appraisal based on conversations with family, friends, and more importantly, attorneys. And I like to point that out. Every attorney and every local attorney that I've worked with talks to their buyers and say, if you waive your appraisal, this is what it means. If you're buying a $500,000 house and the appraisal comes in for $1, which of course we know that's never going to happen, you're responsible to come up with the difference. And the the attorney is just pointing out, worst case scenarios. Our role to make sure that everybody completely understands the product is to have those three-way conversations between buyers, realtors, and their attorneys so that everybody in the transaction fully understands this. Also, we provide a written guarantee that we produce at the same time as we produce our pre-approvals and home buyer's edge solutions. This way, when you're presenting the offer, it looks in the best possible lights. In order to be eligible for the product, it has to be a conforming loan limit. And in this year, the conforming loan limit is 1.209 million, putting 20% down with a 720 or better credit score. We recently had a buyer in New Providence. He was approved for the home buyer's edge and value assurance, allowing them to fully waive their appraisal. And we knocked a cash buyer out of attorney review. That buyer and that realtor, extremely ecstatic. We have certain tools in our toolbox to overcome sales contingencies. The home sale assured and our bridge loan program. Do you have a contingent buyer? Now, defining a contingent buyer, there's two reasons why buyers may be contingent. One, income. They don't have enough income to straddle their existing mortgage payment combined with their proposed mortgage payment and any other secondary debts they may have. Or they don't have sufficient funds to cover the down payment and closing costs readily available and liquid. The home sale assured product. Home sale assured is a cash offer backup contract provided by our affiliate. What this does is it allows us to eliminate the borrower's current housing expense on their existing/departing residence for underwriting purposes. For instance, if they have a $3,000 mortgage payment that's making their DTI too high, the use of this tool allows us to ignore that $3,000 mortgage payment because they have a non-contingent cash offer to sell their house. The costs are $2,500 and the value is locked in and guaranteed once the fee is paid. The timing to pay the fee after the contract and after the completion of home inspections. This allows you to buy now and sell later. Some more details about the product. The buyer has 120 days from the day they close on the new home to sell their existing home. We want you as their realtor to actively market that home, promote the home, and get it under a fair market value contract as quickly as possible. If the home is not sold or closed in 120 days, our affiliate purchases the home and immediately relists the home with you. 90% of the profit from the sale goes back to the client, and the other 10% are absorbed in closing costs. We can't stress enough, we want you to continue to work and market that existing home to get the price that the seller's looking for. Another success story with this product. We had a client qualified without a contingency to sell and had funds for the down payment and closing costs, but needed to put 30% down to qualify. They used the home sale assurance program to eliminate his current housing expense, which allowed him to put down only 20% and saved him $25,000 in capital gains tax. This is how we further look at clients' financial situation. If he had to liquidate the funds that had accumulated the gain in his stock or bond portfolio, he'd be liable to pay that tax. But by using the tool, we eliminated the tax. He saved $25,000. Equity tied up in your current residence, we offer bridge loans. Do you have a client who currently owns a home and wants to purchase a new home, but lacks the funds needed to cover the down payment and closing costs? Bridge loans help access equity on their current property to use for a down payment and closing costs. Client was moving from Ohio and purchasing in New Jersey. We used a bridge loan for them to tap into $100,000 of equity to increase their down payment, which allowed us to put the buyer into a better purchase mortgage program and drop the rate by 1%, saving the buyers about $1,300 a month. These are part of the strategies that we use to capitalize and help our borrowers. In conclusion with this, we have our Home Buyer's Edge, which is a fully vetted, fully underwritten product, plus value assurance allows us to waive the appraisal, and that means your offers are as good as cash. With the home sale assured and a bridge loan, we can get the contingent buyers who are no longer contingent and able to submit competitive offers. Sorry. Does anybody have any questions at this time? I'm sure I didn't do that great a job in explaining all the products and programs to everybody. Everybody, any questions on materials I presented? I'd also like to make a note that as a bank, Luminant Bank now, in addition to offering all the mortgage services, offers all the banking products. So if any of your buyers open up a checking account with a $1,000 minimum balance, they get a $400 closing cost credit immediately. Well, if nobody has any questions, I think we're all good then.
Hey everyone, feel free to raise your hand or chat your questions. I think we do have one. It's she or he said, will you share your presentation with us?
Of course, I can send that out to everyone.
And it looks like Annie Guerrero has a question. I will allow you to talk, Annie. So you can just feel free to unmute.
I think she's still muted.
Go ahead, Annie. You can unmute.
Or not.
Never mind. Sorry about that. It looks like we don't have any more. Oh, wait. Actually, we do. From Jacqueline Jordan. She said, I missed the beginning of the presentation. I will be able to look at the recording, correct? Yes. We will share the recording with everyone.
And of course, I can send you the PowerPoint to send out to everybody if you'd like.
Yes, that as well. The
I'll have that over.
materials.
You want me to send that to you directly, or do you want me to send that?
Sure. No problem. Yeah.
Okay.
You can send it to Ella at ncjar.com. And Jacqueline also requested you can share the mortgage information to us.
I'd be more than happy to. Which information, the presentation, I'll be more than happy to share that with anyone.
Okay, it looks like we don't have any questions. Okay. Okay, so we will be sharing the recording of this webinar and as well as the presentation that Robert just shared with you guys.
Thank you very much, everybody, for taking time to visit with us during lunch today.
Thank you, everyone.